Now 34 starts out very similar to number 33 except for some different coefficients and a constant. But we have dp dt is equal to 0.0004 p times 250 minus p. The first thing I'm going to do is separate these variables. That gives me dp over p times 250 minus p is equal to 0.0004 dt. Now, I'm going to try to write an equivalent fraction, an equivalent expression for 1 over p times 250 minus p in the form of a plus b, where here the denominator is p and here it is 250 minus p. So I'm going to multiply here by 250 minus p, 250 minus p, and I'm going to multiply by p over p so that I have common denominators. And once I know that I have common denominators, then my numerators must be equivalent. So here I have 150 equals 1 equals 250 minus p plus b times p. Here I get a times 250 minus ap plus bp. And if you remember from the last problem, there are no p's over here. So we have 1 equals 250a. Our constants must be equal. And since we have no p's, then we also know that bp minus ap, all right, bp minus ap equals 0. But I'm going to write that as 0p. So then we have b minus a has to equal 0, or a equals b. So now, not only is a 1 over 250, but b will also be 1 over 250. And so now we have the numerators of our fractions. And so I'm going to take the fraction here, and I'm going to write it as two parts. 1 over 250 over p, and 1 over 250 of 250 minus p. And here's my dp, and then I have 0.004 dt. Okay, now we can integrate after I multiply by 250. So we'll end up with 1 over p plus 1 over 250 minus p dp. And when I multiply by both sides by 250, I'll get 0.1 dt. Okay, now we can integrate. And when we do that, we will get ln of p minus the ln of 250 minus p equals 0.1 t plus c. And again, if I multiply by -1 like I did in the last problem, I'll have the ln of 250 minus p minus ln of p, negative 0.1 t minus c. Again, using properties of logs, I'll end up with ln of 250 minus p over p equals negative 0.1 t minus c. And now I'm going to raise both sides using e as a base. So the e and ln cancel out, and I get 250 over p minus 1 equals e to the negative 0.1 t minus c. And again, I can break this up as e to the minus 1 t, e to the minus c, 250 over p minus 1. Now, we are told in this problem that the number of gorillas at the very beginning was equal to 28. So when t equals 0, p equals 28. And so now, if I take 250 over 28 minus 1. This gives me 1. So then I'm just left with e to the minus c power. And if I do this on my calculator, okay, the 250 divided by 28, so let's see, we're going to take 250, so 250 divided by 28 minus 1, that gives me 7.929. So that gives me, this is equal to 7.929. It's e to the minus c power. So now, just to finish that off, if I start back with my equation, I end up with 250 over p minus 1 equals 7.929 e to the negative 0.1 t. And if I add 1 to both sides, get 1 plus 7.929 e to the negative 0.1 t. And if you cross multiply, you'll get p is equal to 250 over 1 plus 7.929 e to the negative 0.1 t, which is what they give you for the equation for number 34 about the gorillas.